And now we want to go through the legal side of all of this. For that, we are joined by experienced trial attorney Matt Murphy. Matt, it is so good to see you again. And let's actually start with something we just heard from Chicago Alderman Raymond Lopez here. Some city officials telling undocumented migrants to put that note on the door saying, ICE, we know our rights. Is this a good or a bad idea?
Well, it was so refreshing to listen to Alderman Lopez just there, Natasha. In case anybody doesn't understand it, I was a prosecutor before California became a sanctuary state and then after. And what he's talking about is in an effort to protect people who've committed violent felonies, they basically refuse to cooperate with ICE in the jails, like in Los Angeles County. And so those bad guys go back out into the community, and the innocent people, the dreamers, the people that are doing things right, who might not be documented, are also getting impacted in a desire to protect criminals. It is absolutely insane. I couldn't agree with him more. He's exactly right. The communities that will benefit most from this, guys, are the communities where these guys live, the innocent people, documented or not. In those communities are the ones that getting these guys out of their world and back to wherever they came from will benefit most.
And the Justice Department, meanwhile, is now investigating state and local officials who may be interfering with the White House's crackdown on immigration, saying that they could be facing criminal charges. Help us understand this. Can you explain at what point interference becomes a crime and what type of penalties could these officials face?
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see that, Natasha, because, of course, we have what's known as dual jurisdiction between states and federal criminal courts, essentially. So something that may be a state legal action can be completely illegal federally, like interfering with ICE officers engaged in the lawful performance of their duty. And we haven't seen this tested yet. It's almost like a game of chicken. And if you notice on that list, where I am right now, Los Angeles, it doesn't look like they have conducted any enforcement actions yet. But I guarantee that in the communities of Southern California, for the hardworking migrants, they're going to welcome some of these guys getting shipped up and out because they're the bullies of the neighborhood. The aggravated felons and the low-hanging fruit on this terrorize those places. They terrorize the innocent family members. I've prosecuted murders where gang members have victimized the people of those communities that aren't documented, and I think they will be applauding it when they do come to Southern California.
That's such an interesting perspective. And let's stay in SoCal, because Huntington Beach, California, for example, just one area that is declaring itself a non-sanctuary city now, saying that it will assist federal authorities with immigration enforcement. Now, this goes against California's overall status as a sanctuary state. Governor Newsom's vow to resist the Trump administration's plans. So do cities like Huntington Beach have a right to go against the rest of their state? Do they get overridden by state leaders? What happens here?
Well, they're pursuing it in court. So the city of Huntington Beach, which was one of my old cities when I was a homicide prosecutor, they're suing the state of California for this exact reason. The way it's supposed to work is that when somebody commits an aggravated felony, or even something that isn't an aggravated felony, like a crime of moral turpitude, like a flasher, or somebody that's extorting innocent members of the poor communities where these guys are living, when they are released from jail, there's supposed to be a detainer that's honored by the federal government. So they're supposed to go from county custody to federal custody, or when they're released from state prison, the same thing. They're supposed to go directly into federal custody in order to go through deportation proceedings. And Huntington is one of those places where these guys get out and they terrorize the poorer areas of Huntington Beach. So the city has finally said enough is enough, and they're suing the state of California. Look, there are millions and millions of people in California that do not agree with these hard, radical left policies. They see the effect of it on the communities, especially when it comes to violent crime. And frankly, they're sick of it. So this is not as controversial in California as a lot of people might have me believe.
And Matt, we are almost out of time, but I have to ask you, even in just about 15 seconds or so, birthright citizenship, we see Trump trying to end it, a judge blocks it. What's next?
Yeah, so that's a different issue. That's going to require constitutional action. You can only do so much via executive order. That's a different story. And my guess on that, Natasha, is ultimately the 14th Amendment will remain in effect, and we will continue to have birthright citizenship. That's my guess.
Okay, Attorney Matt Murphy, I always appreciate the context, the analysis. Thank you so much.
Happy to be here.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.